Welcome back to our Maine homestead. We are headed out to the homestead to try to get some building done today. The weather isn't great. It's a little snowy, a little rainy today, but if we wait for perfect weather before we start back building, we'll never get anything accomplished. So we're going to take advantage of all the nice days that we have left in the month of April. We're going to see what we can get accomplished over the next few weeks. So here we go. Alright, so Eddie and I got some scaffolding put together. We got the first and second floor clear of all snow and ice today. Eddie just wrapped up clearing off the snow on the second floor deck. So now we are going to start carrying up some of our ridge posts and just get them up here on the second floor deck. And then that way, maybe tomorrow if the weather's really nice, we can start putting up some ridge posts. So that will be very exciting. We'll see how it goes.
Where are you going?
That's what we get for being superstars.
So yesterday we got a lot accomplished. We got the sheep squared away with their last winter round bale, and they're tearing it up, of course. And we got both floors cleared of snow. A lot of just little things. We got all of our ridge post moved up top, ready to go for today. So today's actually the first day in almost 5 months that we've actually done real building. So we're glad to get back to it. You know, this weather won't last. It's like in the 50s today. But we'll work while we can. So we've got all the post prepped, ready to go up. And so it's time to get to building. Our plans, just kind of keeping the theme of how our videos were last year. So we're hoping to get these ridge posts and the ridge beams up this week. And then by the end of this month, April, we're hoping to have all of the rafters set. So once we get these ridge posts and the ridge beams up, we can cut a rafter template and then hopefully have all the rafters up, which there's going to be 40 rafters. They're all 4x8, so it's going to be a lot of work, but hopefully have those up by the end of the month if the weather holds out and gives us, you know, enough days to get it done.
Yeah. So today is the eclipse. We actually have about 20 minutes before the eclipse begins and about an hour and a half before totality begins. So we're gonna try to keep knocking away some posts and knee braces, and then we're gonna take a break so that we can watch the eclipse. It's quite windy out here today, but Eddie and I managed to get all of the ridge beams up on the house.
It was not fun.
It was not a fun job.
It's way high up and with the wind blowing, but we did it.
Yep, go us. Hello, happy Monday. So over the weekend, Eddie and I were able to get up on the scaffolding, bring a 2x8 up here, or maybe a 2x6. I'll have to ask him. Bring a 2x something up here and make a rafter template. Eddie cut it, and so today we've been working on placing the template in multiple locations where rafters are gonna go to see what kind of adjustments may need to be made, that sort of thing. So Eddie got up here today and made marks along our ridge beam and our bottom plates here so that we know exactly where to put the rafters. And again, we brought the template up here and we put it in multiple spaces so that we could figure out what adjustments need to be made. And then we brought up about 8 rafter boards. So we'll get to cutting those tomorrow and hopefully placing some rafters tomorrow. So here's our rafter template. This is the end that's gonna sit on top of the ridge beam. And then way down here is where it will sit on that plate. So there is our template, and here are 8 rafters that need to be cut and placed starting tomorrow. Eddie chipped off a bunch of ice that was still on these, so hopefully they're gonna thaw out a little bit and be a little bit easier to work with tomorrow when we need to get to work on rafters. How do you feel about today? You always want to be about 12 steps ahead of where we're actually at.
We're ready to start cutting rafters, so we're getting there. Babe, don't include that. Come on, guys! Come on, guys!
Are you missing some toys? Did you throw those out of the car? Oh. Olivia.
So good morning. Francesca's taking Emery to therapy this morning. She does that 2 mornings a week. She'll be here this afternoon. But while she's not here and before I really get to real work, I guess, I thought I'd show you what we did yesterday. We tried to video it. Our camera batteries weren't cooperating and our tripod actually got squashed by one of these. I think I've got it fixed now, but I don't have a piece for it, so it's handheld for now. Anyway, we set our first rafters yesterday, so you can see them up there. These are 4x8s. They're kind of long and awkward a little bit, but they're heavy, of course. We got 5 of them done yesterday. The first one took about 2.5 hours, and the last 4 took about 3 hours, if that tells you anything. It's like pretty much anything you do around here. If you've never done it before, and especially of this scale, we've never built anything like a house, obviously. The first one you do, it's, you know, you're trying to figure it out. So you learn a lot. You probably learn as much about what not to do as you learn what to do. But usually it's really difficult because you hadn't figured it out yet, and you struggle. And so once you finally get it done, you take a little bit of time to figure out, oh, I can't keep doing that over and over again, so I'm gonna figure out a better way to do it. And we did that. So the second one went really quickly, and the next 3 went very easy. It's just kind of figuring out a system. Overall, for each one now, it takes about 45 minutes from the time we mark it with the template, cut it, carry it up, get it up, put it up, screw it in. Each one has 2 10-inch screws, 2 8-inch screws, and 4 6-inch screws. I want to show you that process. Hopefully we'll show you this afternoon when Francesca gets back. I can't do it by myself. But that's the first bay, and so we're going to work on this bay this afternoon. But hopefully we have a system down. It seemed to work really well yesterday, and things went smooth once we kind of learned how not to do it, I guess. So hopefully we'll show you this later on. So this is our rafter template that I cut the other day, laying out on top of one of the 4x8 rafters that will become rafters. So all we do is just lay it down, trace the cuts, and we used kind of a throwaway piece of 2x8 because it's lighter, and I'll tell you about that. But and then this actually will be repurposed into one of the floor joists for the porch once we're done using it as a rafter template. So it's serving multiple purposes. So I just thought I'd take you one step back prior to tracing it onto one of the 4x8s that will become our rafters once it's cut. The reason we cut a template, number one, is you want to be sure that it fits. So once we cut it, we took it up, test fit it in the place where we measured it and cut it from. And of course it works great. But we're building with rough cut lumber. The tolerances are close, but it's not like buying lumber from a big box store or your big lumber yard that's dimensional lumber. Number one, it's all the real dimensions. So a 4x8 is a 4x8, a 2x4 is a 2x4, not 1.5 by 3.5 or whatever. That's just one thing. But anyway, so we test fitted it in the first spot, made sure it worked. Then we got our scaffolding set up where it's set up now. Well, it's opposite from where it's set up now because we finished that back bay. So we've got it set up to start the front bay now. But we set up our scaffolding, and then we took the 2x8 back up there and test fit it at every location where a rafter is going to go. Because with rough cut lumber, it's going to be off 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. What we wanted to try to avoid is the way our rafters are cut, anything hanging outside the house. And so that's the main reason for that measurement. Everything is fitting really well along the plate and at the ridge, but we want to kind of be sure we're not hanging too far out because that's where the tongue and groove is going to go on the outside of the post. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. So each time we do a bay, we carry the 2x8 upstairs and test fit it at every place where a rafter is going to sit. Make notes about what adjustment might need to be made on that back part that sits on the plate. Then we bring it back down once we have all our notes for that bay. Then we're ready to use the template to trace out all the markings. So all the tracing is exactly the same. There's just one measurement that we shorten up if needed. I just thought I'd share that with you. So now I've already traced this one, so now I'm gonna cut it. Doing this by yourself takes a lot longer than with someone helping you. These things are not easy to move. They're awkward, but they're heavy, and it's difficult to get it lined up exactly right on the saw by yourself. But I'm going to attempt. I'm hoping to have most, if not all, of these cut and ready to start putting them up when Francesca gets back, but we'll see. Actually a little bit long, so I'm going to shorten the back side of it so it doesn't overhang, hopefully, and then make this cut. So now I have to turn the saw blade from this angle, which is 35.5, all the way around as far as it'll go, and then finagle to make this cut. At first, my plan was to make all of these cuts on a certain set of rafters, then turn the saw, make these cuts, and then finish with the handsaw on the notch that goes rest on the ridge beam. But I found out, and it didn't take long, these things are so heavy, it's not worth moving them around that much. Get one done, get it out of the way, move another one in. A lot easier to move this saw back and forth, which isn't really easy, as you'll see, than it is to move these here, there, kind of thing. Easier with help, but not easier. So that's 3 cuts, now just 2 more, and that's this notch where the rafter sits on the ridge beam, and I have to do it by hand. So the last step before the rafter's ready to be carried upstairs and put up is I want all my screws to be countersunk. So I took a Forstner bit the size of the screw head basically, and then I came up, I decided exactly where I wanted all my screws located, and I don't know if you can see that, but I made a diagram that tells me exactly where to put each hole. So I use this, measure them out, mark them. Of course you have to do one side, then the top, flip it over, do the other side. Much easier if Francesca's here again. But anyway, mark them all, drill them out. I'm only going about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep, just so that head is below the surface of the wood. Number one, you won't really see it, but on any surface where something else is going to be applied, we don't want it protruding up and causing a bump. So anyway, that's the last step. Once I'm done with this, if I was ready, if there were 2 of us here, we would carry it upstairs and go ahead and put it up. We're typically just doing them one at a time, but again, this morning I'm going to plan on cutting as many as I can and have them ready. Then we'll just carry them one at a time up, put them up, and hopefully knock it out pretty quickly. So Francesca's here now this afternoon. We're ready to put the 5 rafters that I cut and pre-drilled up on the house. That's the heaviest one yet. Some of them are wet. So there are the rafters we did today and the ones we did yesterday, 10 total. The first bay is done. There's only 4 bays. So, but today we put these 5 up. Of course, I cut them ahead of time. But we put these 5 up in about 2 hours, just a little over 2 hours. So it's moving along pretty quickly. So we'll see what we get done tomorrow. Stand on your tiptoes. So you can see behind us, wait, this way. We finished 3 bays of rafters, front and back. We just have 1 left. Hopefully we can do that in the next couple of days.
So we've gotten all but 5 of the rafters done. We just have to do the front of the deck area. So that's what we have down here, the last 5 rafters that we are about to mark and cut. Maybe mount today, probably not sure. Depends on how much energy and time we have. All right, we've cut the last rafter. So Eddie is working on the little bird's mouth cutout. Then he's gonna pre-drill. We're gonna take the rafter upstairs and put it with the other 4 that we have up there. And I think we're gonna call it a day because
we're gonna take Emery to the park.
It's such a beautiful day. We wanna take advantage of that, and we're gonna take Emery to the park and have a nice little like picnic, dinner, and just hang out at the park today. So that's the plan. Okie dokie, we've got all 5, the last remaining 5 rafters up on the 2nd floor. We're gonna wait and do those tomorrow. So essentially this is gonna wrap up April's building vlog video. We were able to do all of the ridge posts, the knee braces, the ridge beam, and tomorrow we'll have all of the rafters done. So that's very exciting to get started on something new. Next week we are supposed to get our delivery of tongue and groove ceiling boards. So
it goes on the outside of the rafters. It'll be our ceiling and the first layer of decking for the roof. But yeah.
Yeah.
So that's next.
So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when new videos come out. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions. And let's go take our baby to the park now.